So how about number 1? There's a couple ways of doing this. You can go through all the work, or you can just say, oh, what's -6 plus a half? Or -7, sorry, -7 plus a half would be, yeah, -6.5. Convert that to a mixed number. -13 halves. Right? Or you can say, all right, that's 7 is the same as 14 divided by 2. Okay? And then -14 plus 1 is also -13 halves. So either way, very quickly. So you go ahead and do a little more practice on this fractions here. After you finish each one, maybe recount it a little bit, see what you did, see if you can do it mentally, practice doing it mentally, see if you can get the same answer. About 5 seconds each. You want to be able to do these in about 5 seconds each. Well, write it out, then practice doing it mentally, and then you'll get good at it. Right? Again, I don't want anybody saying, well, I can't do that because it's, I have to multiply, 2 times 4, and I have to multiply 3 times 7, 8, 21, and add those, 29 over 14. I have to do that all in my head. Yes, you can multiply twice and then add the numbers together. Nobody's going to say that's too hard, or, I'd rather do quadratic formula. That's easier than multiplying twice and adding. Right? I know some of you might have told yourself that fractions are hard. They are not. Something you made up so you didn't have to think or even try at doing that. Right? You will say, well, it's a fraction, I don't even try. That's a way of being lazy. You can multiply twice and then add numbers. Everybody can. So do it right. Do it well. Okay? Next, a little more practice. Again, if you can do the ones with a 1 in front without writing anything out but the answer, that's fine. That's where you want to end up. So what two numbers multiply to -6, add to -1? Yeah, you want to be able to pretty much write those out quickly. When you get down to like 12, that's when you might have to first do the GCF. And then say, oh, what two numbers multiply to 6, add to 7, and then you'll get your two numbers there, 6 and 1. But you more or less do this without, you're not stopping any writing. It's like as you're doing this and you're writing +7, +6, you're also thinking about what multiplies to 6 and add to 7. And by the time you start writing the second line, you already have the +6 and +1 ready to write down. So same thing, you want to get good at doing these, but also without wasting time. So that when we're doing all these homework problems on the back of the worksheet that are a lot more work, you're not going off to the side and saying, okay, what two numbers multiply to -6? Okay, negative, and you're making the problem way longer than it needs to be. You can come up with -3 and +2 without doing all this extra writing. Let's see here. Yeah, when you get down to these are going to be a little bit more work because you'll have a GCF, and you'll probably need the to use the box for the x. So we'll have 5x squared. Let's see, 3 goes in here how many times? 7, yeah, it goes up here. So 3 goes into 16. 15, and 4. 3 goes into here, 40. Then you'll have to go 5x and x. And what are the two numbers? You'll have to find out. Well, that will take a little bit longer because it's not as easy. You got to deal with that. What did it come up to? What multiplies to 40 adds to 54? 85. Work it out. Oh yeah, 100, 254. Yeah, that's actually easier. So it multiplies to 200, adds to 54. Yeah, 50 and 4. Much easier if I wrote it out. You notice how I try to look at it and get it right, I was way off. So 50 and 4. And of course, reduce that, so you just get x plus 10, x plus 4, and the 3 in front. So a little bit more work. This is as difficult as they get, though. So we can do this in about 20, 25 seconds. We're good. And the only way to get that fast is to practice. After you do it once, and maybe you have to stop a few times, mentally walk through it again and say, okay, I do this, then I do this, the two numbers are this, and then write the answer out. You got to mentally practice doing it. But if it's all choppy, every single problem is choppy, and you have to stop and pause, and that's all you do, that's as good as you'll be. It'll always be choppy, always be like pausing, and like first, I get 3. Okay, I got 25 x squared minus 1. Okay, so I got 5x plus 1 and 5x minus 1. That's the speed you want to go at. And recognize those perfect squares quickly. So, kind of, I'd say look at 21, see the speed at which you can do it, and then try 22. But try it at that speed. Try doing it a little bit faster. Okay, take out 4. You get b squared minus 25. Okay, 4 times b plus 5, b minus 5. Okay, go through it a little bit faster. Now, with all this speed stuff, I don't want you to sacrifice accuracy. So if you're going so fast that everything's wrong, that's too fast. So you got to find that balance of how fast can I do it, the fastest I can do it, but still be accurate, and then slowly try to speed it up. Okay. And that's why you have several of the same type of problem. So you try it on here, try to do a certain speed, try it on 22, speed it up a little bit, and maybe by 24, it'll be a lot faster than what you started at. So all we're trying to do is incrementally speed things up a little bit. And that's only on the, no-brainers, 25x squared, that's easily 5x and 5x. Up here on 17, that's not going to be super fast. But still, try to do it without pausing, without stopping. The hardest part might be when you see 254. Try not to trick yourself and say, well, 200 is a big number, so that's difficult. Not true. 50 and 4. That's a little bit easier. If anything, think of 20. 20 would be 5 and 4. 200 is 50 and 4. All of a sudden, it's a lot easier. Okay. But don't just stop and say, 200, that's going to be forever, that's so hard. And you spend 30 seconds complaining how difficult it is when it's really 10 seconds of work. All right, so let's go to the back and look at what we asked to do today. So of course, like 25, it's a little bit easier because same denominator already. Let's go ahead and add the tops. 2x plus 2, bottom. Okay. Can you cancel anything as is? Right now, can you cancel anything as is? Where?
5 plus 1.
Oh, that is a 5. Okay. Okay, let's sit closer. Okay, 6. All right. So now, can anything cancel as is? Say no. Why not? Nothing's being multiplied here. This is all addition, subtraction, top and bottom. So how do you get from addition, subtraction to multiplication? Factor. GCF. Use the x. Use whatever it takes. So 2 times x plus 3. And on the bottom, 6 times x minus 4. Now does anything cancel? Yes. 2, 6, you get a 3. X plus 3 over 3 times x minus 4. So you got 3 of those that are all the same denominator. Starting on 29, different denominators, factor them first. And then again, see if anything cancels from the very beginning. So we have p plus 2, what does the bottom equal? How did I get that? Yeah, this is multiplication. So before you start, look to see if something can cancel from the beginning. So it's a little bit easier. So now, we just need to multiply this by 2 times p minus 3. Top and bottom. We got p plus 2. Bigger. How do I do all this? Good idea to multiply these together first. 6 with p, 6p. And then 6p distribute. All over. Simplify all that. So I got 6p squared. And then we have what? Negative 17p plus 2. Is that what you got? And lastly, let's see if that top factors and cancels with either the 2 or p minus 3. I don't think it will. There's not a factor of 2 on top, right? That's odd. And p minus 3, I don't think we're going to get because this is a 2. But let's see if it factors anyway. So what two numbers multiply to what? 12 and add to negative 17? Nothing, right? So yeah, that's it. So we got to check it just to make sure. Okay. So another one like that to the right, where you might want to check the beginning to see if something reduces. As ugly as this problem is, it would have been even uglier if I had another factor of 2 that I canceled out right there. Going down to 31. Okay. These are already factored. There's no common factors. This is a little more straightforward, where you just have to multiply top and bottom by the other denominator. Most common mistake here is going to be sugar property. Just be careful. 2n. Minus 8 plus 30n minus 18 all over one denominator. Five n minus 3, n minus 2. Simplify that top. 32m minus 26. All over the same thing. Now, what is that top factor to? What's the biggest number that comes out of that top there? 32 and 26. Just 2? $16. Yep. Minus 13. And then, of course, the whole denominator. 5n. Good. And of course, nothing cancels. So that's what we do have to factor it and see if it cancels. else we need to do here? 37. Start off with the track frame bottom there. You can already see a GCF of what? 3. So it's going to factor to something like this. Now, if you want to do the actual factoring part off to the side so it doesn't get involved in the problem you're really working on, that's fine. So we have what? Both positive. What are the two numbers? 3 and 1. Is that right? No. What are the two numbers? 2 and 2. Okay. 2. Over here, once again, you can see at the beginning 3 goes into both of those. 8 over 2. So that means I need to multiply the left-hand side, 2 over 2, the right-hand side by all of them. Now all of this stuff right here is just equal to this right here, correct? Yes? Yes. So be a little bit easier for distributed property purposes. Now the bottom, I want them to be the same. I want it to be factored. So these are the same thing. This right here is just the factored version of this right here. I want it in this format on top because I need to do this. I need to distribute on the top. Now let's just finish that up. And that being said, again, these might be a little, you might get stuck at times. It's good to maybe do some of these with other people, do them in the library after school or tutoring, or over the phone if you're getting stuck on them, as you can really get hung up on one little thing on some of these. Really get in the way. Again, if you have a bunch of them that you couldn't do tonight, see you in the morning, early. Don't show up tomorrow and say, I didn't get the back. That's not good enough. Yeah, they're going to be a little hard. Again, work on with somebody else if you can. If not, come in the morning. That way when class starts, at least you'll have basically everything finished. Also, look at last night's. If there's anything you need to add to it to fix so that all the answers match all your work, do that as well. I promise this is the last push, and then we'll be done for the year. Okay? So just work